Everyone has a unique gift, and Mike, the creator of the 1NELife podcast, believes most people don't know how to use their gifts or what they are. Mike wants you to see things from a different perspective and be true to yourself. The 1NELife podcast, it inspires, motivates, and creates positive energy, love, and compassion to all communities. We only have one life to live. Be yourself and live your truth. Add the 1NELife podcast to your playlist. That's the number 1NELife. Available on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and your favorite podcast platform.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the 1NELife podcast, where we talk about positive psychology while taking care of our well-being and telling your story, because everyone has an amazing story. What's up, y'all? It's your host. It's me, Mike, M to the I to the C, Reed. I'm just having fun today, y'all. I'm just having fun. Today was a great day. Today is Friday. Has an amazing day. Had an amazing week, actually. Wow. You know, this week was great. It was a little challenging. I'm going to be honest with you. It was a little challenging. A little emotional, too, because dealing with kids, you know, you're going to deal with all kinds of emotions. And a couple of days ago, I had to deal with a kid that, you know, like in the middle of his explaining what was going on with him, because that day he was doing a little too much. We came to find out that it was something that was rooted from other schools that was going on. And, you know, so, you know, I had to deal with that. And, you know, he was just telling me that I don't care. And, you know, he was telling me that he believes that I don't care about him or any of the kids there. And it's like, wow, you know. So it kind of hurt me. And typically I don't allow, I don't take behavior personal. But that day, that kind of hurt, like when, you know, someone tells you that, because you know, I think, you know, everybody that works, you know, at a school, like, we don't have to be there. Like, we do it because we care about the kids, and we want to, you know, make a difference and make an impact in their lives, and, you know, hopefully change things around, turn things around. But so when he said that, you know, that kind of hurt. And I didn't take it personal, but it hurt in the sense of I felt his pain. You know what I mean? Like, I felt his pain and what he was saying, because it was something I can relate to it, because I've been there. So it just kind of hurt. So that was just an emotional day. It kind of drained me that day. But later on that day, you know, I kind of went home and kind of, you know, did my thing about, you know, in my toolbox on how I can, you know, take care of myself and, you know, regulate myself and just get back on track, right? Because those situations like that, you know, we're all human, you know. It just hurts, you know. So I was a little down leaving that day from school, but, you know, I shook it off, you know, I understood, you know, I prayed on it, and went back the next day, and was all good. Like, you know, it was like, okay, I'm back at it. Let's go. But other than that, it was just a great week. I love what I do. I love my team. We do an amazing job. Everybody at the school, and it's not just my team, because me and my team, we work with other teams, and I just love how we all just come together and just makes things happen. It's amazing. But anyways, today, I want to talk about relationships, because I told you guys a couple of weeks ago that I got about 4 or 5 people that's about to come on here, and we're going to talk relationships, because I've been wanting to do this for a while now. It's no secret. It's no secret that I love relationships. I love just the way I am. Honestly, don't know where it comes from. I can only assume or guess where it comes from, only because I think and I believe that growing up, like, I didn't grow up with my mom and dad. So growing up in a neighborhood where, you know, everybody pretty much had their mom and dad, you know, I saw that and I was just like, wow, I want that, right? I want that love, that relationship, and I just never had it. I'm the, for all of you that don't know, I'm the baby of 7, so I'm the youngest. I have a lot of siblings, but I also didn't have a lot of time with all my siblings because only me and one of my sisters grew up with my grandmother in the household, and my other brothers and sisters, they lived in another household. So I didn't have them around all the time. So and my older sister that did live with me, she was out with her friends doing her thing. But she is my closest sister, and love her to death. She's amazing. But still, like I felt like growing up, I didn't have that love. I never had the motherly love because my mother passed away when I was a baby, so I never had that. And I think for me, I saw it in other families and other relationships that I've always was just in search for it. So I've always wanted it. I was very blessed to have been married twice. So yes, I've been married twice, been divorced twice. But my first marriage lasted 25 years, and me and her were great friends. I have 2 beautiful kids with her, and that's the only kids I have. Second marriage, whole different story. I'm gonna get into that a little later. That's a whole nother show. But I do want to say because I hear all the stories about the drama and just the horrific stories about relationships and why people don't get along. Because now when I tell people like, yeah, you know what, I'm friends with a lot of my a lot of my exes, but for the majority of part of them, and I hear all the stories that people are just not, and I get it and understand it, but I guess I always look at it like, at one point, you guys loved each other, cared about each other, right? It was great because you guys was together, right? So I guess that's how I look at things. Nothing lasts forever. That's just the reality of life. Nothing lasts forever. People are in your life for a reason, for a season. Yeah, it sucks when it ends because it's hurtful. It's like grief when you lose somebody, right? But we all know we're not going to all live forever. So at some point, there does come that time of death. So and it hurts. But when I guess it goes back to that phrase, it's better to have lost love and not have loved at all, something like that. I think I said that right. It's better to have loved and lost love than to not have loved at all. I guess I look at it that way. It's like when someone, a loved one or someone close to you passes away, right? We're grateful that we had them while we did. Yeah, it sucks that they passed away and they're not here no more. And that does hurt. I've lost a lot of people. But we have to look at the flip side of that. Like, we was blessed to have that person in our life for when we did. So I guess I look at relationships the same way. So married twice, divorced twice. Second marriage, like I said, I want to say we was together for about somewhere between 7 and 10 years. I'm not really sure. I know it's crazy, but somewhere between 7 to 10 years. It ended badly, unfortunately, and we're not on talking terms, unfortunately. But at one point, I mean, I did care for her. I did love her. I tried to give her the world, and not to, mind you, me talking about relationships, I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not putting no blame on nobody. I just want to have these conversations, and because I know everybody goes through it, right? So these are one of these things where we have to have these conversations and talk about it. Because I know in the second one, I have fault. I had fault in that. Even in my first one, I had fault in that one. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't all, sunshines and rainbows all the time. It was up and downs. Second one, same thing. All my relationships. But there was parts of it that was beautiful. There was parts of it that I enjoyed and I loved and I would always be grateful for. Even the bad parts, I can say, I was grateful for that because I learned from it. That's how we grow. We make mistakes. I'm not grateful that, I caused hurt and pain, but, I guess I'm grateful for the lessons that we both learned. Well, for my part, I can't speak on anybody else if they learned lessons or not, but I know I have. So when I told you guys that I'm gonna have these guests to come on, I got about 4 or 5 people that's gonna come on, and we're just gonna talk about relationships. What works, what doesn't work, just our experiences and our perspective on relationships. My thing is, so like I said, I love. I do. I love being in a relationship. I think I've had maybe 4 relationships my whole life. I just love being in a relationship. I don't like being by myself. I've tried it. I know everybody keep telling me that because I was married for so long that I need to be by myself and enjoy that. And I will say this. I do like my time to myself when, like, I go out, I come home now, I don't have to check in with nobody. That's kind of a great thing. You got to check in with nobody. You come home when you want. But I do like when I read or meditate, like I have my own space and time for that, right? So I do enjoy my moments when I'm by myself. But I don't like being home alone. I just don't. I like having a partner. I love pillow talk. I love bouncing ideas off my partner. Like I look at my partner, and I've always treated all my partners like they was my best friend because that's what, to me, and again, this is all my perspective. To me, a partner should be your best friend. And that's what I look for in a partner. Like, I know I went out with this one person. She said I was clingy. If I'm clingy, I'm clingy, whatever. But I love being with my partner. I do. I love grocery shopping. I love going window shopping. I love just being with my partner. I love just, even like when, I know like most people when they're in a bad mood, right? They always want to be alone, right? I get that part. Me, I'm just different. Like if I have a partner and you're my best friend and I have a bad day, all I want to do is go home and just sit next to you. I ain't got to say a word. You ain't got to say a word. Just being in your presence and you being in my presence is the world to me. Like maybe that's different to me. I'm different. I know I am. But that helps me. That's just who I am. I know that don't work for everybody. I know some people, they can't be next to somebody, and that's fine. Like, I think that's where relationships, we have to know our partners. Everybody's different, right? Everybody has their own thing. So for me, that's what I like. So of course, if I, with somebody, they have to accept that for me. Like I just, and not to say that if they're in a bad mood, they have to come sit next to me. No, if they're in a bad mood and they like their alone time, cool. Go be alone. Go do what you got to do. Like, I'm fine with that. For me though, I want you next to me. And again, you ain't got to say nothing to me. It's kind of like how we deal with behavior, right? Like in the schools and in therapy, what we do, when a child is, acting up or he's escalated, you ask them and you stay calm, right? Because first thing you have to regulate yourself, but then you're calm and you're talking to them and you're asking them, hey, what's going on? Do you want to talk about it? And if they're just screaming and saying no, you have to be okay with that. it's like, okay, cool. I'll be right here when you're ready to talk. So kind of the same way. So I look at relationships the same way, but for me, yeah, I don't want to talk. So if I'm having a bad day, and typically whenever I just get off work, I go home for the first 10, 15 minutes, depending on how the day is. I typically don't want to talk. I love seeing my partner. I get excited going home, seeing my partner, but I don't want to talk. Especially if the day has been like draining. Like I just need, 10, 15 minutes to just de-escalate, calm down, relax, and then we can talk. So again, it's just more about presence, like with the students, sometimes when someone is escalated and they just want to vent, they don't really want you to talk to them. They just want to vent. They just need somebody to listen. So you just being in their presence is helpful because they just really want somebody to listen to them. So they just venting. Same with a relationship. So that's why I like, my partner just to be next to me, just sit next to me, or just be in the same room. I'm totally cool with that. You ain't got to say nothing. Just sit there. I'm weird like that, y'all. But that's why I want to have these conversations, just to talk from, perspective. So I'm just kind of giving you guys just a little bit of what I'm going to be talking about. Just what's on my mind. It's okay to fall in love again. I know a lot of people that, we talked about how some people are not friends with their exes, right? But they obviously it ended bad, but they want to take that, relationship, all that hurt and pain, and take it into another relationship, or they don't want to be in a relationship because of what just happened in a previous relationship. Now, this is something that I kind of want to talk about, and I'm going to talk about this when they come on the show too, is like, how do you guys feel about that? Like, so for me, I know like my last relationship, right? I'm the type of person, and I had to learn not to do this. I was that guy that tried to give you the world. I always tried to make you happy, right? I always tried to do things to make you happy. And I quickly had to learn that we can't make nobody happy, right? But and I'm going to talk about this a little later, about how all that works with a relationship, because you're not supposed to try to make somebody happy. Like, we're not responsible for each other's happiness. But I was just that guy, right? So his last relationship, I was like, I'm never giving it my all no more. Like the day after, I was like, I'm never doing that again. And I think we all feel like that, right? We're just in our feelings. We're obviously feeling pain. We're going through the emotions. But then I was like, is that fair? Is that fair to the next person, right? Just because this relationship didn't work out, and you gave it your all, or whatever, whoever gave it their all, and they didn't appreciate it, or whatever the case may be, and now you're like, I don't want to do. I'm not never doing that to another person again. I'm never loving that person like this again, or I'm never buying the person nothing, or whatever it is. You go into this new relationship. You can't really go into that relationship because it's not fair to the new person, right? Because they didn't do nothing to you. So it's kind of like you have to start from scratch, start off from zero, right? But most people, they don't. They take that hurt and all that from their previous relationship, and they go into this new relationship, and they have all these walls up because they've been hurt. And in a sense, I get why you have walls, because it becomes a trust issue, right? No one wants to be hurt. No one does. But it is a risk, going into another relationship. But it's okay to go into it with a clean slate, clean heart, and give it your all. So for me, I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? That's not fair to the next person. Like, what if that next person is that right person, like your forever, your whatever? Like, it's not fair to them that you got all these walls up and you got trust issues. Now you don't trust them. For what? They didn't do nothing to you, right? So I was like, I'm going to be me. I'm going to love the way I love. And I think that's fair for me. Now, I'm just talking about myself. So whenever I go into a relationship, I always try to go in with a clean slate. I'm going to love how I love. If that person doesn't receive it or takes advantage of it or just, shits on it, whatever, then that's on them. It's not on me. I'm going to always be my true, authentic self. And I just believe that that's how everybody should go into a relationship, right? Being their true, authentic self and not bring in hurt or pain that someone else caused you that this new person didn't, right? So that's how I am. I want to talk about that because I know everybody has their different opinions about it, different perspectives. But when you do go into a relationship, I was just reading, watching some videos about Mel Robbins on her let them theory. I love her perspective on that. You have to let people feel their pain. You have to let people go through what they go through. So it goes back to, when you go into a relationship, you can't make someone happy. Like, we are only responsible for our own lives, for our own path. Everybody has a different path in life. Everybody has their own path, and it's going to all look different. Now, once you find yourself and you're happy with who you are and you get into this relationship and that person is happy who they are, then yeah, you guys can go on this journey together side by side, knowing that, yeah, you're going to come across some obstacles. That's just life. No relationship is perfect. But knowing that she's going to walk her path, I'm going to walk my path, but we're walking alongside each other, adding value to each other. We're not making each other happy, but we're adding happiness to each other. We're adding value to each other. We're adding joy to each other. We can add to it, but we're not making someone happy. We're not making someone feel joyful or, making someone's life better. No, only person that can make your life better is you. You're the only sole person that's responsible for how your life ends up. So, again, just my perspective. And this is the conversations I'm going to have with my guests. I just want to hear people's different perspective on it because people have different perspectives on it, and it's interesting. I've already talked to a few people, and it's interesting, their theories and their thoughts and how they came up with their thoughts and how they feel. Because, again, we all are on different paths. All our paths look different. So, that's one of the things that we have to accept, I think. And I think that's a big problem in relationships. We don't accept people for who they are and what they're doing. So another thing, accepting people for who they are and not who we want them to be, right? It's kind of like life. Like, we have to accept life for what it is, not what we want it to be. Yes, we're in control of our own destiny, our own lives. But again, life happens, obstacles happen. So we have to accept these things. I know people argue with me about that as well, about accepting people for who they are. But we can't control people. Like, that's one thing that we cannot do. So when I say that if you're a certain way, I have to accept it. Yeah, there's a flip side of that too, where I don't have to accept it. I don't have to deal with it, meaning I don't have to have you in my life. But if it's somebody that you care about and somebody that you respect and, you want in your life, everybody has some type of flaw. So we do have to accept it if we want to be in this person's life or if we have to deal with this person, those are just the things that we have to accept because we can't change them. Only person that can change them is them. And maybe they don't want to be changed. Maybe they are happy with the flaws that they have. I'm happy with my flaws because I know I have them. I do try to be better. Every day I try to be better. But it doesn't make me one day say, okay, I'm clear of flaws. No, it's not going to be that way. Like, I'm going to always have flaws. Just like we all have 24 character strengths. So communication, prime example. Communication is a character strength, right? we all communicate differently. Communication is probably one of the number one things that we need in a relationship. But people communicate differently. You know, I always thought that, yeah, you have to communicate. Even when I was in relationships, you have to communicate, right? But people communicate differently. And if you want to be with that person, that's kind of something you have to accept. So, me, I look at people and I try to find out how they communicate. Me, I've grown and I communicate with my words now. I used to communicate differently, right? But again, we all have different capacities. We all grow differently. So as stuttering right now, the older I got, I learned how to communicate. So now I communicate way better. But some people don't. Some people haven't learned how to communicate, and some people just don't want to. Some people never figured out how to communicate, but they communicate in different ways, and that's okay. I know one of my relationships, she didn't know how to communicate, but she told me she loved me in other ways. Like, she showed it. So it's kind of one of those things where actions speak louder than words. Like, yeah, she would never say like she loved me, but she would show me in different ways, and I knew that was just the way she communicated to me, and I was fine with that, because we had a serious relationship one day, and she was like, "You know I love you, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know." She just shows it differently, because at first I didn't know that, but when she explained it to me, it made sense, right? So it was just something that I accepted, and I was fine with it. So it's whatever it is within your partner, you're not always gonna be on the same page. You know, one person might communicate better than the other, but I guess you got to look for that balance, like, you know, that balance in the relationship. And that's okay if one person does and one person doesn't, you know, as long as you guys understand each other's love language and character strengths. Again, we all have 24 character strengths. We use all 24 character strengths, but we use the top 5 more than we use the bottom 20. And that's a fact, y'all. Y'all can look that up. But it's true. It's like your love language, right? 5 love languages. We use all 5 of them, but we use 1 or 2 of them the most. That's just reality. Like, my top love language is touch. Words of affirmation, I think, is my second. But we do use the top ones better, and that's just how we communicate. We're supposed to work on the other ones. So over time, it does change as you grow. And some character strengths, they come to the front, and some fall back. But again, it doesn't mean that we don't use them. You know, it's just how we use them and how we communicate. So that's just something that we have to learn from our partners, and we have to be okay with it. Again, we have to accept people for who they are, not who we want them to be. I think I've learned that I accept everybody for who they are, because I understand everybody have flaws. I have flaws. So I understand that. I'm okay with it. If I want you in my life, I want you in my life for all your flaws and all. I'm okay with it, as long as you're not just a evil person. You know, I'm cool with everybody, though, because I get it. I understand it. I understand behavior. I'm actually studying more about behavior and neuroscience and how the brain works and how behavior works, because that's just something I'm really into. Because I think once we understand how all this works, you know, conversations change. Conversations are different. That's why I love studying behavior and how the brain works, because I can communicate better. I learn a lot about people and, you know, how they are. You know, I've always said that people don't wake up just being an asshole, right? People have, you know, deep-rooted, you know, issues and trauma. And once you figure that out, then it's a different conversation. So, again, people just don't wake up that way. You know, people just don't wake up evil. It comes from somewhere. So once you understand all that, then it becomes a different conversation. So same with relationships. Once you find somebody you want to be with and you understand them and you understand where everything comes from, you understand their behavior and what they like, what they don't like, you know, all these things, you know, the conversation is way better, and you guys can walk along your paths, more peacefully and easily. Again, not to say there won't be obstacles, because there will be, but life becomes just a little bit more better when you're able to walk along each other's, walk side by side with each other's journey. Just becomes a little easier. Life becomes a little easier. The relationship becomes a little easier, and hopefully lasts longer. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Communication is a big thing for me. But again, just going back to what I was talking about, it's okay to fall in love again. If you love, just be your authentic self. I get people put up boundaries and stuff like that, but my opinion, when you jump into another relationship, just be authentic, and that person should be authentic. And that's what's going to make a relationship great. That's what's going to shape your foundation and build your foundation from that. And, you never know what's going to happen. You just got to give it a chance. It's like in life, when you jump in, and like the Steve Harvey video, it's going to be chances, right? You got to take risks, because you don't know. You don't know this person. You just met this person. You don't know what's going to happen. But if you don't jump and if you don't take risks, you'll never know if it's going to work out or not, right? So, I get putting your guards up, being careful, being mindful. It's all great things to do and have, but also be fair, be kind. Give the person a chance. You never know, because you don't want to push somebody away that could have been your everything, that could have been your forever. But you pushed them away because you brought in baggage from your last relationship. Again, that's just me. I know that's what I do. People say I move fast, but, time for me, we're not promised tomorrow. My 1NELife brand, that's what my brand is built on. Time is the most valuable, precious thing that we have, and we are not promised tomorrow. So, I'm going to go. If I want something, I want it now. I don't want to wait, 3, 6 months, a year to get something, because I don't know if I'm going to be here 3, 6 months or a year from now. So if I know what I want, and I do, I'm 54 years old, I am single, and I know what I want. I know exactly what I want, and I'm going to go after what I want. I'm not going to settle. I've settled before, and I don't like it. I don't think anybody should settle. You should definitely go after what you want and enjoy life. And if you know right away what you want, it's why wouldn't you just go for it? Why would you wait? Why would you wait for anything? Like, there's no perfect time. You're never going to be 100% ready for anything. Just like business or in life, like I hear people say that all the time. Well, I just want to wait for the perfect time. I just want to wait for this. Wait for what? Like, there's no perfect time for anything. Again, these are just my opinions. I go after what I want. If I know I want something, I'm going to go after it 100%. Because I know I'm never going to be ready, 100% ready. You just got to do it. And if it worked out, it worked out. If it don't, it just doesn't. But you took the risk. If things don't work out, at least I know I tried. You only fail when you don't try, right? So for me, I'm going to always go for what I want. And if it doesn't work out, cool. It wasn't meant to be. But at least I tried. I gave it my best. I put my best foot forward. I put in the effort. It didn't work out. Cool. I'm okay with that. I can live with that. And that's the difference between me and everybody else. And that's why I say these are just my opinions and my perspective. I'm okay with failing and not if things don't work out, because I know I gave it a shot. You're never going to make the basket if you don't shoot. You're never going to make the basket if you just hold on to the ball. I'm a big basketball fan, so basketball analogies, right? You just hold on to the ball. It's never going to go through the rim. So you got to shoot. I shoot my shot all the time, even though I'm a very shy person. But I do in my own way, and I know I'm kind of a sneaky person to do it. But in my own ways, I always shoot my shot, even if it's in a sneaky way because I don't like rejection, but I do throw my shots out there when I know I want something. But I'm just weird like that. But anyways, that's what we're going to be talking about over the next month. Relationships, just getting everybody's perspective. Again, it's not to bash relationships. We're not doing that. It's all positive talk, healthy conversations. That's all I want to do, and just have these conversations that I feel like we all need. It's therapeutic for me. I know that for sure. But I love hearing other people's perspective because you never know what you're going to learn, right? Anyways, that's about it, you guys. Hope everybody have an amazing weekend. Thank you again for everybody that tunes in. Lately, I've been getting a lot of new viewers and a ton of views. So thank you so much to everybody that's tuning in and liking the content. Hopefully, you guys get a takeaway from it somehow, some way, and I hope it's all making sense to you. Again, it's just my perspectives. Created this show because I just like to have these conversations. I like to be positive. My background is psychology, and I'm all about studying behaviors right now and restorative practices. So I'm learning as I'm doing this as well. So I'm not perfect. I don't pretend to be perfect. I love talking. I love communicating. I love having my guests around here because I learned so much from my guests. I learned so much from you guys, from your viewers, by your comments, and a lot of people send me DMs, and I love the feedback. So keep it coming. Let me know when I'm wrong about something or you feel a certain way about something. Let's talk about it. I'm always open to any conversation. All right. Again, have an amazing weekend, you guys, and till next time. All right. Peace, love, and blessings. I'm out.